parents as well. Why do they need this book right now, in this moment?
Oh, because life is hard. And it's hard to be a young...
Breaking news. Justin Baldoni has just scored a major legal victory, leaving Blake Lively to face a significant setback that has caught the public's attention and raised serious questions about her credibility. The ruling highlights what many see as a striking contradiction, given that Blake has been actively trying to prevent public discussion of these matters in court. Yet the details of the case have now made her actions impossible to ignore. Wayfair, for example, objected to the continued coverage of the subpoena, which still demands access to call and text logs, revealing the phone numbers of anyone with whom the Wayfair parties and others communicated, a detail that could have far-reaching implications. Once celebrated as the internet's darling and a symbol of Hollywood charm, Blake Lively now finds herself watching both her own and Ryan Reynolds' public reputations suffer in the wake of Justin Baldoni's headline-grabbing legal triumph. In a bizarre twist of irony, Blake's efforts to gain public sympathy not only failed but backfired spectacularly, further intensifying scrutiny from media and fans alike. Their initial scattershot approach to handling the controversy, trying to minimize attention while selectively controlling narratives, has proven ineffective, leaving them exposed under a glaring spotlight that casts their actions in an increasingly unflattering light. Adding fuel to the fire, old footage has resurfaced, suggesting that Blake's secret strategy on film sets involved maintaining strict control over productions and misleading directors to ensure her vision prevailed, a revelation that only deepens the public's sense of betrayal. The fallout from this ruling is immense, far surpassing a simple misunderstanding or minor hiccup. It represents a serious blow to Blake Lively's image, her professional relationships, and the delicate balance of public trust she once enjoyed, leaving both her and her collaborators to navigate the consequences in a climate of relentless scrutiny and judgment. This woman attempted to hijack the entire production, insisting she held a divine right to do whatever she desired, which created an exceptionally tense and surreal environment on set. While my primary goal was simply to act and contribute meaningfully to the storytelling, Blake Lively seemed determined to push far beyond the boundaries of her role, seeking full creative control over nearly every aspect of the film. What began as a passion project for director Justin Baldoni and Wayfair Studios quickly spiraled into a battle of wills, with Lively employing a wide array of tactics to assert dominance, manipulate outcomes, and push Baldoni aside. Despite holding only an executive producer vanity credit, she rewrote entire scenes, changed costume designs, dismissed the original editor, and even brought in her own team, including a composer, wardrobe designer, and editor, effectively sidelining the experienced professionals Baldoni had initially hired. While some directors, producers, and crew members eventually welcomed her input after recognizing her talent and perspective, many others were frustrated or outright angered by her overreach, seeing her actions as a dramatic overstep from someone who had been contracted merely to act. Lively's determination to shape the narrative extended far beyond the performance itself. She sought influence in the writing, character development, costume design, editing, and even post-production decisions, turning what should have been a collaborative process into a high-stakes power struggle. For those of us genuinely invested in the film, this created a strange duality. Outwardly, meetings often felt performative, almost as if I were expected to simply show up, hit my mark, and follow directions, while privately, I knew I needed creative authorship to feel fulfilled and bring authenticity to my role. Lively's efforts to control the production were meticulous and calculated. She didn't merely voice opinions. She acted strategically, building alliances, making unilateral decisions, and positioning herself as the ultimate authority on set. The fallout from her actions was felt in every corner of Wayfair Studios, from tense meetings to disagreements over the scope and timing of the film's screenings. What should have been a smooth, collaborative presentation became a series of disputes, with the studio arguing over whether to show the completed film or only select portions, and Lively pushing her own agenda at every turn. By the time production wrapped, it was clear that her approach had left a lasting mark, not just on the film itself, but on the dynamics, morale, and professional relationships within the entire team. demonstrating that her pursuit of control was not a minor quirk, but a deeply consequential and disruptive force that overshadowed the original vision of the project. The situation escalated dramatically when I found myself in the middle of a high-stakes clash over the film's release, with the studio insisting that nothing should be shown until everything was perfect, while I argued that the movie needed to go forward. I even brought the film with me on the airplane, carrying a folder, a disc, and a hard drive, just to ensure it would move ahead. But then came Blake Lively's massive blunder, an unauthorized screening of a rough cut at a literary event while the film was still in editing. Wayfair Studios was blindsided, as this screening not only violated their explicit directives, but also breached standard industry protocols, undermining the carefully planned strategic release. An actress is hired to act, not to sidestep procedures and make unilateral decisions. Yet Lively boldly did exactly that, jeopardizing the project and giving Justin Baldoni crucial leverage in his legal battle against her. Reports suggest that she even justified her actions under a guise of female empowerment, implying that she could lie, cheat, and manipulate her way into controlling major productions, an approach many insiders found disturbing. The situation deteriorated further when she allegedly leaked sensitive details to the New York Times, aiming to damage Baldoni's reputation just as the lawsuit intensified. Initially working under Stephanie Jones' PR, Lively later left to start her own firm, and the timing of the negative article, which painted Baldoni and Wayfair Studios in an unflattering light, was widely seen as a calculated move to manipulate media narratives and cast herself as the victim. Despite her media efforts, the court proved far less sympathetic. Each of Lively's legal motions collapsed, beginning with her failed attempt to secure a gag order to prevent Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Fredman, from speaking publicly. The judge rejected this outright, allowing Fredman to openly challenge Lively's narrative. She then attempted to avoid depositions, seemingly hoping to evade direct questioning from Baldoni's legal team. But the court compelled her participation, which threatened to expose even more damaging evidence of her attempts to control the production and orchestrate a media campaign. In her own filings, Lively claimed that the negative campaign against her did not begin until August 2024, raising further questions about the timeline of events and her extended efforts to manipulate the situation over the preceding years. Meanwhile, the public witnessed Justin Baldoni scoring a major legal victory while Lively suffered a significant loss. Appearing on Sarant Live with Reynolds, making jokes and trying to maintain composure, an approach many saw as hypocritical, given her prior attempts to silence discussion in court. Ultimately, her strategy collapsed spectacularly, leaving her with little sympathy in the courtroom and a mounting record of actions that had backfired, highlighting a dramatic clash between ambition, control, and the realities of legal and professional accountability. As if Blake Lively's earlier setbacks weren't enough, the judge also rejected all restrictions on Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Fredman, granting him full freedom to publicly dismantle her claims, completely derailing her PR strategy and leaving her with no control over the narrative she had hoped to command. Her repeated attempts to silence Baldoni's legal team, avoid depositions, and manipulate public perception spectacularly backfired, exposing her actions to scrutiny and painting her in an increasingly unflattering light. Industry insiders have begun expressing deep concern over her behavior, noting that studios are now hesitant to invest in projects where she might hijack production, as seen with It Ends With Us, where her conduct triggered alarm bells across Hollywood. The stakes were equally high for Reynolds, who became entangled in the controversy amid speculation that he supported Lively's takeover efforts, potentially to set up a sequel, placing his once untouchable reputation at risk. Lively stormed into the courtroom expecting to control the narrative, only to be shut down repeatedly, suffering a humiliating string of defeats, beginning with her failed gag order on February 19, 2025, which would have barred Fredman from speaking publicly. The court flatly rejected her motion, giving Fredman the legal freedom to expose her attempts to manipulate production, leak sensitive information to the media, and orchestrate behind-the-scenes chaos, including rewriting scenes, hiring her own editor, and sidestepping Wayfair Studios' directives. Each of her legal maneuvers, from attempting to dodge depositions to limiting evidence, was systematically denied, forcing her to answer under oath about every calculated move she made. As her strategy collapsed, it became increasingly clear that her attempts to portray herself as a victim were contradicted by indisputable evidence, including emails, texts, and filings demonstrating a deliberate pattern of control and manipulation. The fallout has been immediate. Hollywood studios are reportedly reconsidering whether to work with her, wary of her unpredictable behavior and legal antics. Legal analysts described her actions as career suicide, noting that with every failed motion, every rejected gag order, and every ruling allowing Baldoni to expose her misconduct, her public and professional reputation erodes further. Meanwhile, the media and public continue to follow the drama closely, with insiders warning that Lively's once pristine image is being irrevocably damaged, leaving her isolated in a high-profile legal battle she cannot win. While Baldoni, previously little known, now stands vindicated as the figure exposing her self-destructive maneuvers, Blake. Lively's troubles deepened as it became clear that her team had leaked private text messages and emails to the New York Times without due process. Yet she continued portraying herself as a victim of a career-threatening campaign. With her deposition scheduled, Justin Baldoni's attorney Brian Fredman unrestrained and no remaining legal shields to protect her, the coming months threatened to be catastrophic for Lively's career, as the illusion of control she maintained has evaporated and the truth looms ready to expose her actions. Her public attempts to frame the Wayfarer parties as part of an abuse playbook, or to salvage meritless claims through amended complaints, did little to counteract the growing perception that her downfall was the result of a long series of calculated missteps. Industry insiders are reportedly keeping their distance, wary of her unpredictable behavior, while Hollywood increasingly views her as a high-risk collaborator whose reputation has been irreparably damaged. Lively's PR nightmare, which began in early 2024, reached a breaking point by January 2025, with fan backlash intensifying over her handling of domestic abuse themes in It Ends With Us, as well as criticism of her performance and the marketing campaign for misrepresenting the story's emotional core. Adding fuel to the fire, her husband, Ryan Reynolds, attempted to deflect attention with jokes about her claims, but the public remained unconvinced, viewing these as further evidence of mismanagement and insensitivity. A turning point came with the release of a romanticized trailer on January 14, 2025, which fans widely condemned as tone-deaf and unfaithful to the book's message, forcing Sony to edit and re-release it just a week later, though the damage was already done. Behind the scenes, newly leaked emails revealed that Lively personally demanded script changes, dismissed editors, and hired her own composer without studio approval, confirming suspicions that she had actively sabotaged the project from the start. Her legal team's attempt to silence Baldwin's lawyer with a gag order failed, allowing Fredman to continue exposing her manipulative tactics to the public, while the court firmly rejected her motions to avoid depositions or restrict disclosure of evidence. As a result, Lively's career appears to be on life support, with Hollywood insiders openly questioning whether she can recover from months of public backlash, failed legal maneuvers, and mounting evidence that she hijacked the production, manipulated the narrative, and undermined the collaborative process at every turn. Her actions have not only alienated fans, but also created alarm across the industry, with executives describing her ego-driven interference as having transformed what should have been an emotional and moving film into a marketing disaster, leaving her reputation severely tarnished and her professional future in serious jeopardy. Blake Lively's career implosion has now reached unprecedented levels, with industry insiders widely labeling it one of the most catastrophic in recent Hollywood memory. Just a year ago, she was considered a reliable, bankable star with a string of high-profile projects lined up. But the ongoing legal turmoil stemming from her conduct on It Ends With Us has left studios increasingly wary of collaborating with her. Sources indicate that Warner Brothers quietly paused discussions on a future project due to the legal uncertainty surrounding her name, while Netflix, which had previously eyed her for a lead role in a high-profile thriller, decided to scrap the idea entirely once the Baldoni lawsuit hit headlines, signaling that even major streaming platforms are unwilling to take the risk. The situation grew even more complicated as Ryan Reynolds, her husband of over a decade, became embroiled in speculation, with some fans and insiders suggesting that he may have been an active participant behind the scenes. The controversy reportedly originated from a seemingly innocuous romantic dance scene between Lively and Justin Baldoni, which mirrored the iconic Green Lantern moment in which Reynolds and Lively first fell in love. Fans quickly noticed the striking similarities, and leaked late-night texts published by the New York Times in February 2025 revealed extensive communication between Lively and Baldoni regarding the script and personal matters, which, while not overtly flirtatious, was intimate enough to raise eyebrows and fuel speculation about Reynolds' possible jealousy. As the scandal unfolded, Lively's legal and PR strategies repeatedly backfired. Her attempts to portray herself as a victim, claim harassment, and frame the Wayfarer parties as part of an abuse playbook were systematically undermined by court rulings rejecting gag orders and allowing Baldoni's attorney, Brian Fredman, to publicly dismantle her claims. With her deposition looming, Fredman unrestrained, and no legal protections remaining, the coming months threatened to reveal the full extent of her attempts to manipulate production, leak sensitive material, and assert creative control without approval, exposing a pattern of behavior that has made her professional judgment and collaborative ability the subject of intense scrutiny. Fans and critics alike condemned her handling of the domestic abuse themes in the film, criticizing both her performance and the marketing campaign for misrepresenting the story's emotional core. While industry insiders noted that her ego-driven interference had transformed what should have been a poignant, emotional film into a production and PR disaster. By early 2025, the combination of legal defeats, leaked evidence, fan backlash, and industry criticism had rendered both Lively and, indirectly, Reynolds public and professional liabilities. Baldoni, by contrast, who had been relatively unknown prior to the scandal, emerged vindicated, gaining recognition as the actor who stood up to manipulation and exposed the strategic overreach that derailed the film's production. With her production reputation in ruins, executives reportedly view her as a high-risk collaborator, and her upcoming film, slated for summer 2025, is widely regarded as the ultimate test of her star power. Failure at the box office could solidify her fall from grace, while success is her only potential lifeline to regain credibility. The once bankable, celebrated actress now faces a career teetering on the edge, a cautionary tale of ambition, overreach, and the perilous consequences of attempting to control both narrative and production in Hollywood's unforgiving ecosystem. Major producers are now hesitating to attach Blake Lively to future projects, as her ongoing legal battles and public controversies have made her a risky investment. On February 19, 2025, Deadline reported that she had been in discussions for a major Netflix series, but the deal abruptly went silent, signaling how quickly studios can retreat when a star becomes embroiled in scandal. Complicating matters further, Lively has repeatedly claimed that Justin Baldoni tried to change the pre-agreed-upon script, alleging that these deviations amounted to gratuitous sexual content. Yet Baldoni maintains that the changes were necessary for developing authentic chemistry and narrative flow, highlighting the contradictions in her claims. Hollywood has seen this scenario before. After the highly publicized Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, studios waited years before allowing either actor back into major projects. And even though Depp technically prevailed in court, the damage to his career was long-lasting. Blake Lively now faces a similar reality. Regardless of the legal outcome, studios are wary of attaching themselves to a name associated with controversy. Baldoni disputes her allegations, pointing out that on multiple occasions, Lively initiated intimate scenes during rehearsals in order to explore on-screen chemistry, which complicates her accusations and undermines her narrative. In the current climate of Hollywood pragmatism, stars are only forgiven if box office numbers deliver, and Lively's next project, an untitled crime drama slated for 2025, will serve as the ultimate test of her remaining star power.